Well, hello folks, it's Tuesday afternoon and we're out here in the garden with the chickens and the pigs and
We got 2 eggs earlier.
whoosh, truck rich, bingo! Why don't you run over there and see what the chickens are up to?
They're just waiting.
Well, today folks, I thought we would talk about raising godly women, godly daughters. Obviously you can see my daughter, one of my daughters is here right now. And being a godly woman is something that we talk about in our house quite often, and its difficulty in today's day and age. And the section of the Bible that we seek reference from most often is Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10, where the Bible offers many different virtues and affirmations of what a woman of godly stature is to do on a daily basis, and how she is to carry herself and operate and acquiring the trustworthiness of a godly man. And there's two things to think about as dads. Number one, our presence in our households in front of our daughters is something that cannot be bought with money. It cannot be exchanged. Young men and young women both spell love T-I-M-E with a capital T. Yeah, it can't. If you're out making a bunch of money and you're very successful at your job, which there's nothing wrong with, you just have to be careful about how do you juggle that with, if you do have children, making sure that they feel that they are a priority. And the father's job, as difference to the mother's job, is the father's job is really as motivator. A son's feeling of worth in the world today is only as good as what the father makes him feel. We obviously homeschool, and by age 4, all of us parents, no matter if we homeschool or public school or we go to church or don't go to church, we all want our kids to be socially accepted by other kids. And what ends up happening most oftentimes is we may have a kid that's very agreeable, or we may have a kid that's very disagreeable. The agreeable children are not so much the problem, but the disagreeable children who do not see the world through the same eyes we do, we often chastise them or discipline them in such a way that after a while the child begins to not feel self-worth from us, the parents, especially most oftentimes the father is the most guilty of this. And then the child does not respect authority from any adult. And this is where it gets often awkward, where the child then is not socially accepted by other children because they first do not feel social acceptance from the mother or the father. Now, building social equity, your social bank account, is one thing that we talk a lot about in building trust amongst us. We talk trust a lot. As more trust is acquired by Camden when she operates herself on a daily basis, the more responsibility is put upon you and the more fun, right? And the only way to compromise that is to compromise the trust between you and I, where you show me a lack of respect, right? And ultimately, little girls need to learn that all boys desire to feel in a world is respected. A man will do anything to feel respected. And young men need to learn that all women want to feel is loved. A woman will do anything to feel loved. But those two actions by men and women are very different. Now, as I said, by age 4, they want to be socially accepted. So we're talking about building social equity. And it's important almost over financial equity or financial security. Why? Because I know, and we all know, probably a lot of people that have spent a lot of time building financial equity or financial security that do not have the social equity to balance it. And what basically it comes out to is people with a lot of money who are end up being very rigid and still have a sense of loneliness in their lives because nobody's their friend and they have nobody to share their money with. And what ends up happening is, you know, a lot of people with financial security rest on materialism. So the materials try to fill the void of the social vacancy in their, you know, their circle of influence. And it is the most unsatisfying, unfulfilling thing to try to fill materialistic things with in a void that is supposed to be filled by other people. I know a lot of people that don't have a lot of money that are socially have a lot of equity, and it doesn't take a lot of financial equity to manage social equity. They can have deep, long-lasting conversations. Let's see that. Deep, long-lasting conversations deep into the night, and the only thing you got to pay is cents on the dollar to keep the light on, so you can keep having the conversation. Friends, friends that are long-lasting, lifelong friends. You don't need drugs or alcohol to be able to tolerate their presence around you, because you have very good social equity. So raising godly women, godly daughters, and then by age 7, well, before age 7, young men and young ladies are basically walking tape recorders, in that they are walking around watching you, mom, and watching you, dad, and how you guys interact with each other, and they are making secret expectations for what their life is to be like when they become that age. And most dads, as protective as we often can be, say, yes, I own lots of firearms, and no man is to come near my daughter. But at the same time, we're off busy making our self-image in the world, and we forget to pay attention to our daughter. And there begins to be this huge void in the daughter's heart that they do not get the attention, and they then have this huge gap of, I'm not worthy of attention. And then they seek out that attention in very unhealthy, just bad ways. And these cell phones I'm holding right in front of me can be a huge culprit, right, Cam? This is something I struggle with in my home, to put honesty before you. Now, once they become about the age 7, all those systems that they learned before that time, that's what they turn into their reality. That's the expectations that they expect out of reality. So how we as dads interact with our daughters, do we take our young ladies on dates? Do we open the doors for them? Do we pray at meals? I asked Camden today, I took her on a date. We went on a date today, didn't we? We did. We had a blast. Looking across the table, and I flat out asked her, I said, what do you expect out of your husband someday? She said, well, 3 things, Daddy. He's got to be able to shoot a gun, he's got to read the Bible, and he has to know how to garden. That's exactly what you said, isn't it?
Yep.
I said, let's reprioritize those. He's got to be able to read the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was next? Shoot a gun or garden?
No, garden.
Garden, and then shoot a gun. So he's got to be able to offer food, provide for the family. He's got to be able to offer protection, and he has to show submittance to a higher authority, there being God. She's after a godly man. The only way to be after a godly man is to be first a godly woman. But we all have obstacles. All the things I'm talking about, these are things that I have stolen and written down in a book of men that I have seen raise godly women, and I sit there and ask them, how'd you do that? What were you thinking? What'd you do? How'd you do that? Because I want to be able to do that. That's my most important responsibility in this world right now, is raising godly women and men in my household. Everything else is second to that. Of course, from serving my Creator and loving my wife. Yes. So yeah, age 7, whatever they learned that their worth is in their relationship to their dad, that's what they're going to turn into reality. Men, take your daughters on dates. Show them you have the power to pray at a meal in public while other people are watching, because they will then expect that out of their future husband someday. If only you knew how big of an idiot I was earlier. Still am. I at least tried to be humble anyway. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. It was a long-winded conversation, but it surely deserves some thought. And it's something that I continue to want to learn more about in watching other fathers. I watch other fathers a lot, these successful ones that time in and time out are able to raise godly young men and women. Anyway, I hope all you moms and dads are out there. It's all of our goals. We all want this for our children. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we will catch you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Love you. See you. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.